In the hip hop and rap world, oftentimes they will take a previously existing recording or musical composition and embody that into the creation of a new work, which is really nothing more than a derivative work. So, in order to be able to do that, you've got to get the permission of the record company that controls the master that's being sampled, as well as the music publisher. And oftentimes, the record company and music publisher will say, it's such an integral part of the newly created song, we want to own 50%. And so there's a whole negotiation that goes into using samples in new recordings and how much, what the percentage splits are going to be in the ownership of the derivative work. And that can sometimes be very complicated. In the early days of hip hop and rap, George Clinton, by way of example, was sampled on a regular basis, as was Rick James. And in the early days, George Clinton did not give his permission for those samples. They were just used without permission of the record company or him as the artist. And a lawsuit ensued. As long as it's recognizable, then you've got an infringement. And when you think about it logically, people aren't interested in sampling someone else's work unless there's something unique or special about it. Otherwise, they can just create it themselves. And so, whether it's a drum beat that's recognizable, a snare sound that somebody has, like for example, Phil Collins in the 80s and early 90s, he had a recognizable snare drum sound that everybody was trying to sample or recreate. In the motion picture industry, probably the example that comes to mind most immediately was the motion picture Dangerous Minds, starring Michelle Pfeiffer. And there was a rap artist who sampled a Stevie Wonder song that ended up, I think it was called Gangsta's Paradise. And it ended up being a tremendous #1 pop single, but obviously incorporated much of the melody line from the Stevie Wonder song. And ultimately, they ended up sharing the copyright.